Much of. Well, welcome in. This is the Bitcoin Crypto Weekly Close, and I am the Crypto Bull God. Appreciate your patience. Starting a little late here. Had it started for 7:50. This is now 7:59. So, never late on. As my late best friend used to say, never late but always on time. So, thank you for everyone tuning in. Make sure to drop a comment and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's good to see Holly. I have not seen Holly here in a little bit. Good to see you. John, as always, cheers, my friend. I am drinking some hardcore water this evening for everybody tuning in, so thank you for tuning in. I can talk about Matic for certain. Brendan, welcome in, my friend. For everyone new joining, make sure to hit the thumbs up. It helps me as a content creator. That's my button for the thumbs up. Drop a comment and subscribe to the channel. Holly, when we get to the TA Q&A, I'm sure I'll remember Matic. In fact, I think it's up on my charts. But for some reason, if I'm not properly recollecting that Polygon or Matic is on my charts, make sure to ask me that question during the TA Q&A. So as you guys know, it is 8 o'clock. Woo! It's a weekly close. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually get into the charts. We're going to get into a lot of charts here. And I have a lot of sort of predefined charts that I want to cover. Some I have covered in prior live streams. Some I have not. For any charts that I don't touch on, just make sure to bring it up to the TA Q&A. Now, the primary focus of this live stream, let me get these house sandals off. I just shrunk a half an inch. The primary emphasis of this live stream on the weekly close is to focus on the weekly chart and to provide TA analysis, technical analysis on what I am seeing in the charts, okay, whether it's bullish or bearish. I'm just going to keep it 100% with you guys like I always do. Let's just get right into things. This is the Bitcoin weekly chart. Now, all right, let me share with you what I like and what I don't like. This is a downward line of resistance that we need to break through. At some point, we need to get above the 200 SMA, okay? Challenge the descending line, break out, maybe back test, and then come up here and break this prior lower high. Those are really the first steps in this weekly chart to really start to feel convicted that we're seeing a trend reversal. I will say, looking at this chart, at the moment it's good to see it above it's right at 20,000. So it's good to see it at the psychological level at 20,000. But I'm shaking my head no, because it's not good to see that we are below the 200 SMA. The thing that makes me... Now, here's the thing. I am on record as saying I feel most convicted based on those 21 data points that I provided in the one video that most likely the bottom is in. But I've tried to switch gears. I've tried to switch narratives, and instead of saying, oh, yeah, these charts are suggesting that more than likely the bottom's in, really, I've looked at those data points and said more than likely, feeling 99% convicted on this, this is more so a generational buy opportunity. So whether we have some sort of final capitulation that goes a little below 17,000, maybe to 16,000 or 15, okay, or we double bottom right around the same area right here, that shit as an investor is not really... Let me turn my phone notifications off. Sorry about that. That stuff is irregardless to me. I'm only seeing 2 likes, by the way. I see 5 viewers. If you guys could hit the thumbs up button, I'd really appreciate it. What I'm trying to do is, here's the punchline. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to shift the focus from, because there's a lot of YouTube videos out there talking about the bottom's in, the bottom's not in, the bottom's in, the bottom's not in. I'm trying to shift the focus to the investor to say, is buying today not just a great buying opportunity, but is it a generational buy opportunity? That was the point of the video. I provided you guys with 21 separate independent data points that said buying today, whether it's at 23, 21, 19, or 17, it's a fucking generational buying opportunity over the long term. And so I don't want to get so hung up on if 17 on the Bitstamp exchange of $17,592.78 was the exact bottom. Now, what I would do is I would focus on an investor of today as a massive buying opportunity. We're hanging out at the 200 SMA. We hung out at the 200 SMA. We hung out at the 200 SMA. We hung out at the 200 SMA. Every single time we had a large move, right? So what I'm saying is it's not, if you're trying to time the bottom here, I assure you, I feel with 100% conviction. I feel with 100% conviction that if your game plan is to time the exact bottoms or tops, you're going to lose out. You really will. So with that being said, the price levels we're at today represent a generational buy opportunity. Has a lot changed since last week, since the last Bitcoin Crypto Weekly close? No, not a lot has changed. I do not like to see prices hanging out below the 200 simple moving average. What it does is it expresses further weakness in the price, and it also increases the likelihood that we're going to test down to lower levels. The reality is I could be incorrect. I could be wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times. I've been correct plenty of times, okay? There's no one out there with a 100% track record. But what's not good to see is we're hanging out below the 200 SMA is it increases the likelihood we're going to want to go lower. We really need to see price action kick up on this 200 SMA, get above here, get above these highs here, and get towards this descending line of resistance that we can see backdates all the way to our top at 69,000. We need to start interacting with this line and express some strength to push through. We can back test it and then continue to move up and create higher highs and higher lows. I keep reiterating the same points. That's really what we want to see on this chart. So not too much has changed since last week. This is the Bitcoin Heikin-Ashi candle chart on the weekly. You know, I've spoken to this a lot. Let's get off the price indicators. Let's not talk about that. Let's focus on price action. Anytime we're red, it tends to historically indicate a price direction to the downside, right? Anytime we see green, it tends to signal price up to the upside. Now, there's choppiness here. There's some choppiness here. But you can see, in particular, what I was trying to point out in this chart is when we've interacted with the 200 SMA, even though we add a little bit of green here turned to red, once we got a significant amount of green candles, it signals significant price to the upside when we were around the 200 SMA down here, the pink line. Again, when we got down to the 200 SMA, when we turned green, upside. A little red, more upside. You know, we had some choppy action in here. But it essentially signals trend direction, green to the upside, red to the downside, okay? Now, again, I want to reiterate on this chart, and it's very clear to you, there's choppiness. It's not that as soon as we turn green, we can feel with 100% certainty that we're going to be moving up, or with red, with 100% certainty we're going to be moving down. There is no price indicator. There is no price chart that's going to indicate to you with 100% certainty what sort of movements we're going to make. But the Heikin-Ashi candles are a very good indicator in terms of the momentum of price, right? By the way, cheers, John. By the way, for all those new joining, I don't see as many likes as there are as viewers. I'd appreciate you guys taking, like, you can take your nose, your elbow, your fingers, any other body part that I'm not going to name, and you can just freaking hit the thumbs up button. It really doesn't take much effort. Also, drop me a comment on any charts that you want me to chart. Bitcoin, now we tend to focus, again, we want to focus on the weekly charts, but I did want to point this out. This is a 12-hour chart. You guys know I speak a lot to the 12-hour chart. This is also step one when I laid out the 3 clear steps in terms of a trend reversal, when we can start to feel a little bit more bullish on the Bitcoin chart. And as you can see, what I've drawn out here is a potential falling wedge, and we seem to sort of broken out above it. So we'll have to see what this could be if we're looking at sort of a technical target. We draw it from approximately here to, let's just say here up to here, you know, and we, oh, that was pretty shitty. Let's do this. Here up to here, okay, and we take that, and we start to get an upbreak. It could take us up to the 50 SMA. Now, what I don't like to see on I tweeted this out earlier today, what I don't like to see on the 12-hour chart is that, in general, even if there is a falling wedge, what's happening is price is not only decreasing, but because the price is baked into the moving averages, since it's the average of the prior 50 days in case of the purple line, and 200 days in case of the pink line. Because price is declining, the impact that it's having on moving averages is the moving averages are declining. This is very bad. This is very bearish, okay? What we need to see is we need to see price action begin to gain some stability, and we need to see it consolidate and create a little high here, a little low, a little higher low, and a little higher high, a little lower low, a little higher high. Because not only will that begin to build the basic building blocks of a bullish narrative, but in turn, what it will do is, because the higher prices are baked into the moving averages, it'll cause the moving averages to begin to flatten out and increase up. That's really what we want to begin to see. So you really, in my opinion, need to be watching like a hawk the 12-hour chart for Bitcoin for reasons that I've described in numerous videos if you're not subscribed to this channel. Now, this is the Ethereum weekly chart. What's awesome to see here, to me, this is very bullish. Two things I would point out here. We created a low here, a high here, and a higher low here. I'm waiting for an impending move up to this descending line of resistance, okay? But the other thing that's very bullish to see in this chart, that's the first thing. Guys, if you were here last live stream, I talked about this major area of support here. It was resistance once we broke below, but it's now support right around 1400 to 1300, right? And it held as support. Now we're starting to try to push up, and this should be, anytime you guys tune into this channel, green is support and red is resistance. This should be right. I didn't update it. So we really want to push up to this, past this key level of 1700. That's what we want to push up towards, okay? And back above, excuse me. Oh my gosh, if you guys follow me on Instagram at Crypto Bull God, you know, maybe it's starting to kick in right now. So today, I spent a very active day today. I was in the gym for 2 hours and 15 minutes, mostly weight training, some light cardio, and then I went out in the dead heat of the afternoon and did a 3-hour bike ride and rode 30 miles. So I've worked out over 5 hours today. So I think I'm starting to feel the impacts of that. So regardless of how young I think I am, you know, working out 5 hours in a day like that may catch up to you. So CBG is going to sleep well tonight. All right. So that's what I got for Ethereum. Let's look at the ETH BTC chart. You know, one of the things I was pointing out here, this is a monthly view. I don't know if we really want to change this to a weekly view, because the descending line, the descending lines of resistance aren't going to be the same. I guess the thing I would comment, let's actually keep this on a monthly view. I'm going to break the rules for the stream. So on a monthly view, what's nice to see here is these downward lines of resistance have been broken and we're holding support above it. So I want to see continued price action up here. Now, what this coincides with, okay, guys, if you've been following me and if you appreciate the comment, once again, I'm not seeing as many likes as there are viewers. Would really appreciate a thumbs up. Would really help me out. But, you know, if you're following the commentary that I have on the relativity charts and the strength that many of the altcoins are expressing relative to Bitcoin, and namely Ethereum, which is the king altcoin. This is directly related to what we're seeing in the Bitcoin chart. So if the altcoins are expressing a lot of strength relative to Bitcoin, what does that actually mean? It means one of two things. It means either price movements to the upside are stronger than what we're seeing in Bitcoin on average, okay? Or we're also seeing price movements to the downside that aren't as great in magnitude as they are relative to Bitcoin on average, right? And this is also playing out in the relativity chart. Now, I want you to forget about the fact of what my thesis is here. And if there's anybody here who's good at TA, I want you to ask yourself a basic question. There's two questions I want you to ask yourself. Anytime a major area of support is hit one time, two times, three times in several iterations, and a fourth time, what happens to that area of support? Does it weaken or does it express strength? If you said strength, you would be incorrect, and you're not subscribed to this channel because you would know otherwise. It's going to get weaker and weaker, right? So what's happening is now that look at this. Now that we have a brand new weekly open right in this green zone that I have drawn, which has been hit several times, what this is saying is this area is getting weaker and weaker as holding support. Now let's also draw this to something that is directly related to this. I can't draw this any more clear. Put aside whatever's going on in the economy. I have a lot of people who are commenting on tweets that I put out or DMing me and saying, the macro environment is just so much different. Guys, look, there are always black swan events, okay? But putting that aside, there are always macro events going on. It's your emotional view of what's going on that's sort of clouding your judgment, in my opinion. And the reason I say that is because the charts bake all of this in. There have always been macro events going on. Go back in history to the early 2000s, the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, the 40s, the 30s. That shit is all baked into what you see in a chart. Human emotion plays out in these charts, okay? And that's why I say, I look at a chart and it tells me a story. You could tell me that the beer virus is going on, or Russia is invading Ukraine, or North Korea and their fat dictator. Dude's really he's really chubby. Really fat dude. Nothing against fat people, but he's, how can you like the dictator from North Korea? I guess I'm picking on the North Korean dictator just because he's all right, let's move on. So anyway, that guy's a turd. So that's basically the premise of where I was going. But whether you're talking about North Korea and the nuclear threats they've had over the year, that stuff is baked into this chart. And so if you're, in my opinion, from what I've learned in more recent years, the way I've educated myself, if you're paying attention to all that stuff, you're paying attention to what most people are paying attention to. And it's the reason that most people are not successful with their investments, okay? So the reason I say that is because whatever you want to say about the macro environment, this is a pole. This is a direct line down, right? And then we have this zigzag action. Oh, we broke above the descending line. We broke above this line, right? It got invalidated because we re-entered here. And now what's happening is we are retouching. What's happening is we are retouching this key area here, this green area that has acted as support, and it's getting weakened. So I've theoretically drawn out what I'm expecting to play out months from now. So the Bitcoin dominance chart, I'm excited. And I know this is going to take a long time to play out, but so far, what I've been speaking to with Bitcoin dominance is playing perfectly to a T. And what it's spelling out for us is we're going to see some choppy sideways action between Bitcoin and some of the alts. But ultimately, let me point out the key movements for you. This is going to be a major movement when this plays out for Bitcoin and the altcoins, because it's going to drop down, in my opinion, to the all-time lows that it hit a couple years back when things went on a massive run. We'll get a relief and we'll have a correction in all of the markets, while alts will have a larger correction than Bitcoin. But this is the move I'm waiting for. So, and again, just to reiterate, why do I think there's going to be such a massive move down in Bitcoin dominance all the way down to roughly 22% and create new all-time lows? It's because if you zoom up here, not only is this a descending triangle with a little fake out here that re-entered the pattern, this is a bear flag. It's a bear flag, and I've been hammering home on this. So you have to pay attention to it. DXY, look, DXY is doing its thing, but I've posted things. If you follow me on Twitter, it's in a parabola. If you follow me on Twitter, one of the things that you will appreciate about what's going on with the DXY is there are a lot of negative divergences that are showing up in smaller time frames on the RSI, and what that's saying is, even though we're starting to create higher highs here, the RSI is going down and down and down, and what that's saying is the strength within the price movements that are leading to price increasing on the DXY is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. So the parabola is running out of steam, and as you know, if you've subscribed to this channel, as the DXY falls, the dollar gets weaker. That historically has led to a massive run in crypto and a very good run in equity markets. Let's get into a few other charts. Are there any questions so far? By the way, John, you are correct. Holly, you are correct. The more we knock on prior areas of support, it gets weaker. You're correct. I'm going to get into a few charts here, a few ad hoc charts that I'm going to cover, and then I'm going to open it up for TA Q&A. This is synthetics. Now, the reason I'm bringing this chart up is it has made massive moves. This thing used to be like a top, I think it used to be a top 30, maybe a top 20 at the peak of its run, but it was very high and it dropped all the way down to like 120, somewhere in the 120 range. It's now in like the 60 market cap ranking. It has made massive moves. As you can see, it had a low here around like $1.40. Let's just call it $1.40. It made a move all the way up to like $4.50. All right, so off the top of my head, that's like over a 3x. And since it's still been consolidating, look what it's doing. It's still consolidating in this downward channel, right? We're still waiting for break of this resistance, getting up here to clear this prior lower high to really feel convicted that we're seeing a trend reversal. This is one that's on my radar that I may take a position in because it's expressing a lot of strength. This red zone here, you see this red zone? This is a major area of resistance. Once we start to clear this, which actually coincides with the descending line of resistance, we can start to feel a little bit more convicted that we're seeing a trend reversal here. Getting into sushi. Sushi's been, I would say, one of the more disappointing projects that I have invested in. I still own sushi, but really disappointing. You can see we had a falling wedge here that broke below. Okay, we had this line down. Falling wedges typically break up. This is a great example, and this is where people get irritated that don't understand probabilities in mathematics and charting, is that they look at a pattern like a falling wedge in this case, and the odds are in your favor that the price movement is going to move up. The falling wedge will result in, let me show you this. Most likely the falling wedge results as it's larger up here and smaller down here. See a falling wedge? It most likely results in a move up, even if it's temporary. Okay, but in this case, price actually fell down. Okay, I sort of relate the people that get frustrated at TA when things don't work out with 100% certainty. I relate it to the people that don't understand mathematics, probabilities, high level statistics like that, or calculus or anything. The reality is you know, everything that we're doing here as a technical analyst, if you're not analytically minded, is we're not forecasting the future. We're not telling you with a crystal ball what 100% certainty what's going to happen. What we're doing is we're using past and current data, and also, oh, do I have it here? The price indicators. We're using all of these things to make informed decisions of what we think is most likely, but not everything's going to play out in the most not everything is going to play out in the most likely direction. Okay, that's why we say most likely direction, because you have, just to keep it simplistic, you have a sample size of 10 events. You have 10 events where these falling wedges play out, and let's say 8 of the 10 events play up and 2 play down, right? Nothing's 100% besides living and dying. And so, you know, you make a bet, you make a bet, let's say if you were trading this, that this is most likely going to play out and to the upside, but maybe it doesn't, right? And that's what you have to recognize. So sushi, I mean, right now, what I'm seeing is because we've broken down below this falling wedge line right here, we need to get back up in it and start to break up towards these other areas of descending resistance. That's really what we need to do. We need to get back up in here and break out into this level to really start to feel convicted that a trend reversal is underway. But sushi's been expressing a lot of weakness. Haven't been too happy about it. This is Ethereum Classic. This is one of the stronger OG coins that I'm going to cover in my OG coin market. OG coin TA video. You can see we've been sort of in this broadening wedge, and these things typically break to the upside, okay? Now, what I'm saying here with the green zone is anyone who's looking to get into Ethereum Classic, anything around $25, if it gets back down to $25 to $20, I never financial advice on this channel. Never financial advice. We're all big boys and big girls. We make our own personal financial decisions. In my educated view, if we get in between 25 and 20, it's a massive buying opportunity. So I would look for something in the 25 to 20 range if we fall in this area. Now, obviously, the other scenario is we never fall here, okay? We never fall here. We break out above the broadening wedge. Okay, we break out above this level, we break up. The area to buy in then, let's just say hypothetically we never hit the $25 to $22 area for Ethereum Classic. The way I would play it if I wanted to get back in for a larger position in this, let's say we come down to like, I don't know, $27, and we break up. What I would then wait for is I would wait back to an area around this area, because typically what happens is when you break out of these falling wedges or broadening wedge in this case, or just a descending channel down, you like to back test these areas. So what I would do is I would set a buy limit order depending when we fall out. Like let's say this is the price action, right? And then it begins to consolidate down. I would set a buy limit order at the line and slightly above the line. That's what I would be doing. If I wanted to get in, if the other scenario plays out. 2 more charts. I'm going to pause. Guys, do you have any TA Q&A? Let me know, because I'm going through random charts. You guys got to let me know. This is Quant. I tweeted on this a couple days ago. You can see that there's a descending channel. This is not a falling wedge. This is not a broadening wedge. This is literally just a descending channel. Let me show you what I mean. So breaking down, and you can see the lines here. You see these lines? They're very parallel with one another. Okay, so it's just a falling channel. What's awesome to see about Quant, I mean, Jesus, if you bought this thing anywhere in the $40 to $50 range, you're doing very well for yourself. This broke out. We got above this line, which is major. Look what happened. Look at the green arrows. Look what happened when we broke out above the descending line. We back tested it as support. I just spoke to that. We've now created a high, and right now we have a higher low relative to here, right? We got this high. What do you think the next thing we need to do is? Even if we come down to here, okay, it's still a higher low relative to here. We need to get back up in this region to create a higher high. You see what I'm saying? So it's just about higher highs and higher lows and recognizing where you see resistance within the chart, which I've clearly drawn out in these red arrows here. That's what I would see for quant. Let me get to some questions here. This is Atom. This looks like a potential ascending triangle that looks like now that we've weekly had a close above this red line. You see that? Touches here, touches here, here. We broke out here. Now look what's happened. We have a weekly candle that has broken out above the red line. Wouldn't be surprised to touch down in this area. Maybe wick in here, okay? But the key area to get back above in this area is 17 to 21. I mean, if the market, if Bitcoin doesn't take a poop on us, we could see Atom very quickly get back up into the $17 to $21 range. So keep an eye on that. Let's look at the technical target, actually. So the technical target, the way I have it drawn, maybe you guys will learn something from this. It's from here to here. Excuse me. So you draw from the bottom of your ascending line up to the flat line here, horizontal line. Take it from the point of breakout. And actually, it would take us all the way up to $27. So we'll have to see if that actually happens because I've drawn a major area. Technical targets don't always have to be reached. Yeah, I've drawn major resistance between 21 and 17. So we'll have to see how that plays out. We got a few questions here. Matic, XRP, and Mana. Okay, actually, two of those three charts are up on my next list here, so let's see what we got. What was the first one? Matic. So here's Matic. Not much has changed. Now, guys, when we... let's revisit last week, okay? Let's revisit last week on Matic. When we were here last week, we had this candle close. Okay, we had two big red candles, okay? Well, we had one big red candle and one small red candle. Look what happened with this green candle. This is great to see, okay? Great to see this green candle here. Now, I've said to you guys, it's all about this 105 area. We need to push up above 105, back test it as support. We really want to create market structure. It's much better not to just go like this. We don't want to enter a parabola. We want to actually get slightly above 105 and back test it as support. Maybe have a candlestick or two bounce off of it, 1 to 2, and then move up to 174 and challenge this area. That's really what we want to see. But right now, for Matic, extremely healthy price action. It's been a very strong performer. Look what we got. We went to here to here. So we got a low, a high, and a higher low. Now we want to start to get up into this area to create another higher high. Now, the last thing I'll say on this chart from Matic is, and again, I've been transparent every week, and actually, depending upon, there's only two people, if they are listening to this live stream, I don't know that they are, but there's only two people who will know what I mean by this comment. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that maybe my buys into Matic will be a little bit more aggressive. We'll have to see how this week plays out coming up. Hopefully some positive news for CBG. But right now I have a weekly buy going into Matic and I'm just staking it. I don't care what the hell the price is. But I have this yellow zone here. This is a major area of support between what's called 64 cents and 57 cents. So it is possible, depending on how the market behaves, we could dip right down into this area, which would be if Matic gets down into the 64 to 57 cent area, massive buy opportunity in my opinion. Not financial advice, but my opinion. Because what you still have is you have a low, a high, you still have a higher low, okay? Now, I don't want to see it start to get below much below 57 cents. We could get some sort of wick. Maybe we go down into this area. You see this capitulation wick here? Right down here around 50 cents. 50 to 51 cents. Okay, you could see something like that. But really the main area, if you're looking to put some limit buys, You could set them between 63 to, what did I say, 63? No, 64 to 57 cents. We'll have to see how that plays out. So that's Matic. The other question, oh man, I'm starting to really get tired here. Excuse me. Oh boy, you gotta fall asleep early. So that was Matic. What was the other one? XRP. Oh, Mana. John, good question on Mana. Appreciate that. Now, as you can see here, this is a, let's go to the weekly. Now, you look at this chart at first, and you're like, oh shit, we've gone below. Look, CBG drew this ascending line up, and we've gone below. So I have a couple comments on this. Always keep it 100% with you. So first off, I'm not making things up. I'm going to explain to you why you can do this, and we'll see if the trend line still holds. Either way, I'll tell you my thoughts. About there. Okay, so I redrew the trend line to still have 2 touches. No, that's not 2 touches. That's 1 touch here. I want to draw that a little different, actually. No, it's a little shy. We got to draw a little higher up. Doing this on the fly, guys. Hopefully you appreciate I'm doing this on the fly here. Okay, so looks like we're a touch here, just about a touch here, maybe by off of 0.1%, but still, I would say that it's a touch. We got a touch here more importantly. So we have a couple touches here, 2 main touches. And you can see we're sort of riding this line. Now, I'll tell you what I like to see. We still have an ascending channel here, which is great to see for Mana. What I don't like to see, I'll tell you what I don't like to see. Originally, I had a sort of like an ascending, just like this, an ascending triangle drawn, okay? Where we're sort of consolidating in here, higher lows and a flat top, and I was expecting to see a break up. It didn't happen, so I don't like to see that. I'm seeing more weakness here. Nothing overly concerning, but just weakness. I really wanted to see price stay in this zone here. Now it's just acting up. I wanted to see price action stay in this zone here so that the ascending triangle formation played out, but that's not what happened, okay? So we're down here. Really, the ultimate thing that you don't want to see, I mean, this is a huge dragonfly doji, okay? And I pointed this out a long time ago. This, to me, expresses a significant amount of strength. And let me explain this candlestick. We opened here at around $1.34. We went all the way down to approximately 60 cents. But we closed all the way back up where we opened. Slightly above, just slightly above it, okay? That's a dragonfly doji. What happened was price was willing to come all the way down here, but buyers were so strong, they ate the fuck out of the price to drive it all the way back up here. So the ultimate thing for Mana that you don't want to see, even if this ascending line starts to break down, that doesn't overly concern me. What would concern me, I'll tell you what would concern me, is if this bottom line broke, okay? And that is, we're going to call it 60 cents. If you see Mana come down below 60 cents, yeah, bottom not in, that would be concerning. But anything above 60 cents, in my opinion, anything around, excuse me, anything in the 80 to 70 cent area is a massive buy. Now, I had another question. Thank you for the question, John, on that one. I had another question from Holly, I think. She asked about Matic, and she also asked about XRP. We're going to get off DigiByte. Oh, excuse me. I don't have any major updates on DigiByte. It's still, I don't know, nothing massive to report. It's just sort of holding. By the way, DigiByte is being listed on Binance US finally, so that's good to see. It's just a matter of time, I guess, till it gets listed on Coinbase. What was I looking up? XRP. Let's see. I think I covered this one pretty recently. Yeah, so this was not the chart I was looking for. There was a different chart And not the most bullish of charts. Not been a very good performer, to be honest. And that's the thing, guys. Like when I review these charts with you, the thing to distinguish is I'm not giving you my narrative in terms of what I think fundamentally expresses strength or weakness in terms of adoption or what I think about it moving forward. I'm literally just reading the chart and being honest with you in terms of what I see in the chart. So XRP has not been a good performer. It hasn't done well. I mean, this is the most simplest case I can make on this exchange. Now, the all-time high, the prior all-time high in Bitcoin, or excuse me, XRP varied depending what exchange you looked at. But the prior all-time high listed on Poloniex was $3.54. We only got up to $1.99. Okay, so we didn't even touch prior all-time highs. I mean, look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is an example, which is a weaker performer relative to a lot of other altcoins. Bitcoin's prior all-time high was, I think, 19,666. Mark of the devil. Let's call it 19,700. So 19,700 in this cycle, it went all the way up to 69,000. It did more than a 3x. Had XRP done anything remotely similar, you're talking about a $12 or plus XRP, and it never got anywhere close to those levels. But here, let's take a look at it here. So what I have drawn here is an ascending line of support. You see these touches. We're still holding that. So, I mean, if you still want to, here's what you don't want to see. Here's what you don't want to see with XRP. You don't want this to break because then most likely we're going to around 20 cents. I mean, we're going back to levels of 2019 or 20, right? It's quite depressing. So what you need to see is this ascending line of support hold, okay? And the next thing you need to see, you need strength to come into the cryptocurrency markets in Bitcoin and the rest of the coins. You need to hold this line. And we need to push up in this area. There's price confluence depending when we hit this descending line of resistance. You see the touches here? Okay. Depending when we hit it, there's an area of price confluence at 57 cents. And then one further up at about 77 cents. So we need to push up in this 57 cent area, hold it as support, and then start to test 77 cents. Those are really the first two steps for XRP. But unfortunately, even though it's held its market cap ranking and is still in the top 10, it's even slipped a little bit in that regard. It's not number 3. It's number... let's see where XRP is. I think it's number 8. Yeah, so Cardano jumped ahead of it, right? And quite honestly, Solana could make a huge move and get right back above it and push it to 9. I think in my original projection video when I was talking about some projects in terms of what I was thinking for all-time highs for XRP, and I think I had XRP somewhere. I'll have to revisit, but I think I had a market cycle all-time high between 5 to 9. And I was saying more than likely it would be like market cap ranking 8 or 9. Well, it's at 8 right now. I don't see anything that's going to push it up into the top 3. So it's still, so on the one hand, it's lost share, which is not good to see. But on the other hand, you have to give the token a lot of credit because with all the shit that's going on with this BS SEC lawsuit, it's still remained in the top 10. It's still a top 10 token, which is very respectable. But yeah, I mean, it's not expressing a lot of strength here. You really want to see this hold and test the 57 to 77 cent area for XRP. What other questions? You're welcome, John. Brendan, fingers crossed for incoming fiat for CBG. I'll know later this week. So read between the lines. Enough said. So hopefully getting some very positive news. It's been a pretty rough year this year, so I'm hoping to finish the year strong with some positive news. I was just telling some people that yesterday. Okay, you would buy heavily at that level. Smart. You're welcome, Holly. Oh, okay, so there's one question that Holly's asking on XRP. Do I see any reason for it to dump? Let's look at some price indicators. MACD's starting to turn positive. That's good. RSI, RSI kind of looks poopy. Let's look at the stochastic RSI. So any reason, so Holly's question is any reason for XRP to dump? We got to cross down on the stochastic RSI, which is a caution flag. Although it's starting to flatten out here, it could curl back up. So stochastic RSI is sort of a little bit of a caution flag, but I like to see this curve. You see how this is, let me extend, actually, let me just, you see how we got to cross down here? The past couple times we've gotten cross downs, price has moved down as well. We've got to cross down here, but you see how this is sort of starting to flatten? It might want to start to curl up, okay? This might want to start to go like this, and this might want to start to curl up. So stochastic RSI is a little bit of a caution flag, but nothing overly concerning. I don't see anything. My first gut instinct looking at this chart, no reason to feel like a huge dump is coming in. It's really going to be indicative. Indicative? That's an interesting word. It's going to be indicative of the rest of the market, right? And so far, this ascending line is holding, so nothing overly concerning here for me personally. Oh, you were saying that was on Matic and not XRP. No, and for Matic, I don't see any reason for it to dump hard. Again, I just want to see, 64. I want to see 63, 64 cents and 57 cents hold. So nothing overly concerning on Matic at all. It's been a huge, strong performer here. Yeah, no worries. Smart. I would also buy it strongly in those areas. Guys, I only have a couple more charts, so let me know if you have any TA questions. H-bar starting to break down before, you know, not good to see. It's starting to break down below this descending line of resistance, although, or support, excuse me. You can see it's held as support here since the beer virus lows, capitulation lows. Sorry, I stand for these. I'm just kind of leaning over. Hopefully my voice sounds okay. This isn't, it's not expressing, now I will say this, you know, again, keeping it 100% with you, this is not bullish to see. This is not expressing a lot of strength that we're breaking down. You see how we're breaking, let me take this orange circle off. You see how price action is breaking below this ascending line of support? That's not good to see. It's not expressing strength, and I'm not happy to see that, but it's not overly concerning for me. These are volatile assets. What I don't want to see, I'm going to tell you right now what I don't want to see. This green line on the bottom here at like 5.3 cents, I do not want to see, look, I don't want to see prices go below the 5.3 cents, and I certainly don't want us to take out our huge capitulation low here at 4.6 cents. So what you really need to watch for in H-bar is let's not break 5.3 cents. That's what I would watch for. Harmony 1 is looking really good. We're still holding this upward line, unlike H-bar. And we still have, similar to H-bar, what we are seeing is a low, a high, a higher low. Now we want to see a higher high. We really, you know, 1 is drastically oversold. Drastically oversold. We really need to start hitting some of these areas here. And I told you, once we get above 9.5 cents right here, this red line right here, once we get above 9.5 cents, I'm going to start to feel a lot more bullish about Harmony 1. What else do I have? Gala, again, this is a short-term swing that I have. I have a decent position here. A lot of bullish divergence going on in the RSI. Price is just going sideways. I think it's just a matter of time till, I mean, this price literally doubles or more in a matter of a week. QSP, I have a small position here, falling wedge, similar to other charts. We got a, actually, let's look at the 5-day. You can see we have, was it on the 3-day, actually? Oh, sorry. It was on the 3-day. Yeah, so on the 3-day, you can see a clear bullish divergence as price is going down, right? The RSI is going up. And we also have a falling wedge whose technical target is drawn at around 4.8 cents, which is more than twice where we're at now. So I hold a position here. We'll have to see what happens. Port is an interesting project. Again, there's nothing fundamentally that I would look to take a position in this for. That's not what I would take a position for. The reason I would take a position is, first off, I want you to see something very unique about ticker symbol PORT. You can get this on Binance US. We bottomed in May. We since created a high, a low, consolidated, another high, consolidated a higher low, a higher high, that's price wick. Consolidated, another higher high, higher low. I mean, all we're doing is creating higher highs and higher lows since we bottomed in May, which was before the rest of the market, and this thing has been looking beautiful. I think anything in this zone here, in my opinion, is a buy between 570 and 670, okay? And what I'm saying is there is a blue sky breakout potential here. Now that we've cleared, ignore this volatility wick, okay? We cleared this resistance, and all this resistance. We're above it right now. So I might take a short-term position in here. It's a very small market cap, so we'll have to see. But keep an eye on PORT. Chills is the last chart I'm going to take a look at before any other questions. Again, I looked at this last week. It's expressing a lot of strength. It's been a very strong performer. We have a broadening wedge. You see this straight line down, but you see how this one is sort of curving down. So price is going like this. Would expect a breakout above here at any point, which would signal a massive buy, in my opinion, because we're going to create new all-time highs. So that's what I would watch on chills. Let's see what questions we have. We are 53 minutes into the live stream, so going to probably call it a day soon. LCX. So you want me to take a look at LCX? I can do that. Because, again, I'm not going to comment on fundamental stuff. I'm just going to look at TA for this purposes of this live stream. Oh, I don't have that drawn. What am I doing? Blank. Okay, let's see. Oh, excuse me. I was looking at Amisigo on my own here. Let's see what we got here. LCX. Oh, it's on Coinbase. We'll go to Kraken because they probably have more price data. Wow, this does not have a lot of price data. Okay. These ones are so hard to chart. All right, is this on a different exchange with more data? You know, honestly, guys, I hate charting shit with like no price data because it's kind of worthless, to be honest. All right, so this is on. Okay, so there's a lot more price data here. All right, here's what I would do. Okay, so I see a little bit of bullish divergence on the RSI. That's good to see. See this? Okay, RSI is moving up. Price was here. Well, you know what? It's not a lot of bullish divergence because the price is relatively flat. It's moving up a little bit, and there's a little bit of bullish divergence in the RSI. So you know what I'm going to say? Let's not pay any attention to the bullish divergence in the RSI because it's pretty negligible. But what I would say definitively, let's look at some descending lines of resistance here. All right, here's how I would draw this. This is a 2-day. There's not a lot of price data here. This is really challenging when you get something that doesn't... I'm going to cut it off right there. There's essentially descending line of resistance, so you can see all the touches. I don't need to point them out. Here, here, all in along here, here, here. Okay, so step one is, what do you think I'm going to say? We need to break this descending line of resistance with candle body closes, not price wicks. We need to get above this level, consolidate, get up here, get above this level. We need to start creating higher highs and higher lows, like I say on every chart. God damn it. Shit. Okay. Now what I like to see... Okay, so what I like to see, this green area of support here, okay? Touches. So ideally what you'd like, I'll tell you ideally what you'd like to see and then what you don't want to see. What you want to see, you can see some consolidation here. Break it. Break it. Get above here. Get above here. Get above here. I mean, that's really what you need to do. I mean, that's pretty simplistic and straightforward. All these lower... Goddamn. Fucking trading view. All these lower highs. You see this high here, this high here, this high here. What we need to do is we need to build... We don't want to... The worst thing you could do... Well, there's two worst things. One, you could plummet down. The other worst thing is just going straight up. You want to build stair steps. You want to build stair steps. And the reason, I've gone over this time and time again. The reason you want to build stair steps is it builds market structure. Okay, market structure. So that when price does correct, you have steps or you have tree branches to catch on to. We need market structure. So I'm okay with consolidation in here, but break the descending line of resistance and start to take out these lower highs and build market structure. Meaning market structure is like this. Okay, market structure is not like that. Okay, like what the DXI is DXY, the dollar index, is doing, and why it's going to fall so hard. Okay, the other thing I would point out, look, this thing can fall as low as it wants, and this is probably a low cap, I'm going to guess, without even looking it up. This thing can fall as low as it wants. All right, it can go like this, and it can come all the way down here. It could even double bottom. Don't break this green line. Don't break the green line. LCX, please don't break the green line, because what it's going to do is it's going to set a new lower low relative to our all-time low. So that's really what you want to watch for. And the all-time low looks like it's around 0.0442 cents, okay? 0.044 cents, okay? So that's what I see in LCX. Are there any other questions for me? This is all I had for... covering TA on the weekly close. Not a lot has changed, guys. Not a lot has changed. Not a lot has me extremely concerned. Caveat. The one thing that does leave me feeling a little concerned, okay, because as convicted as I am, most importantly, because I want the emphasis on this being a generational bottom, that I feel really confident in. But even as convicted as I feel on the bottom being in, what does make me feel nervous is that we're still below this 200 SMA consolidating down here. Let's get above this fucking 200 SMA. We need to get above it on the weekly Bitcoin chart. All right, I will take one more question. It is from Brendan, who is a faithful follower. So I will definitely answer this question, even if I feel like passing out on the couch. Brendan, what are you giving me here? What is this? Brother, look, man, you know I appreciate you, but, like, what is this shit? You want me to chart this? Look at this. This is like a spaceship. You know what this is, Brendan? This is a fucking spaceship. See? Look, It's a spaceship, and there's flames coming out. What is this? There's no price data, brother. There's no price data. Like, what do you want me to chart for this? Come on, man. You got to give me something a little better than this. Is there a different exchange? Come on, man. Brandon, I expect a little more of you. Come on. Man, it's late. It's late. The abbreviations. The abbreviations. All right, I thought you were doing ticker symbol THX. I'm like, what is that shit? All right, like, you expect me to chart that? You're saying not a token. All right, it's late. I'm tired. Honestly, I'm tired. I think maybe it's being out in the sun for as long as I was today. The bike ride was really easy. It was not that extraneous. But by the time I got back, like, I wasn't drinking anything with, what do I want to say? Electrolytes. I was just drinking water, and I could feel my quads beginning to cramp up a little bit. I mean, I had a very long back leg day yesterday in the gym. I was in more time than I'll care to share. Some people are embarrassed by the time they don't spend in the gym. I'm a little embarrassed to tell you how much time I probably spent in the gym on Saturday. So I was a little cramping up there at the end of my quads. So feeling a little tired. So sorry. You're welcome, Brendan. You're welcome. I hope you found the TA very helpful. And thank God you didn't ask me to chart this garbage. I don't know what this is. So, John, you're welcome. Thank you for tuning in. So for everybody, I see there's one new viewer that came in at the very end. Sorry, we're going to tune out right now. So been on the live stream for like a freaking hour now. So, guys, Bitcoin crypto happy hour this week. I will try to get another video out. Let's look at my list. What do I have for my list here that I've shared with you? So, talent assessment. That's not it. Okay, so I've done the 3 steps to turn around. I still need to do altcoin deep dives, which I want it to be maybe the weekly thing. I need to do a Holy Crypto Trinity update. And I need to do the OG coins. So we're going to get into that as soon as we can. I'll pick one of those and try and do it this week. So, for everybody who tuned in, thank you. I appreciate the support. Until next time, spread awareness and carry the education forward. All right, everybody. Take care. Enjoy your Labor Day tomorrow. I hope you have a grill out or something something fun going on. I don't know what I have going on tomorrow. I had a fun weekend. I'll elaborate on that. Well, I had a good weekend. I wouldn't say it was really that fun, but it was a good weekend. So I'll share that with you during the happy hour later this week. So everybody take care, and I will see you on probably Wednesday. I have off from work on Wednesday, so I'll probably do the happy hour on Wednesday. So I appreciate everyone, all right? Take care. Carry the education forward, all right? You got it.